For me, one of the biggest things that the internet has taught me is animals are a lot more complex than I thought. Like I always thought like, oh, dogs are smart,
Yeah.
cows and pigs are dumb, that's why we eat
Yeah.
them. And like I've always like looked at animals a certain way, right? With YouTube, like when you look at a lot of animals, you start to actually realize they're actually a lot more complex than that. They're
Oh,
actually
yeah.
cows are actually a lot like dogs. And
Yeah.
like you start to see the personality in them and all of these things. And now when I watch some animal videos, nothing is really surprising anymore because I've been surprised so many times. And I just feel like it's a similar thing with what you're talking about with like people who should maybe like quit their job and go after their dreams, or
Yeah.
maybe get out of their toxic relationship and go into like maybe be single or start a new relationship. Like yes, it's scary,
Yeah.
but it can be done. I feel like that's like a message that didn't really exist in the world before social media.
I agree with you. I think that the message that existed in the world was a little more, not for everybody, but a little more like safety, right? Like get your job, keep
Mhm.
your job, make sure you stay safe. If you're in your career, you're going to be rewarded in the long run. I mean, that's what it was for a long time. So that's what I was saying. I feel like there's a lot of opportunities out there that people are now like, ooh, I got to get to the next thing. I got to get unstuck and take that leap of faith and move to the
Mm.
next thing. So yeah, I agree with you. I think there's been a lot of look. I mean, I get the good and the bad. I get it. Like I'm not going to pretend like it's all good, but I do see a lot in the world that am. I'm in right now is a lot of good coming out of getting that information and that knowledge. That knowledge is a big deal, no matter what it is, whether we're talking about wellness or we're talking about animal behavior. Are we talking
Mhm.
about understanding what's going on, dating, the world of dating,
Mhm.
people, relationships, narcissism is a huge word that mental health. We weren't talking about mental health before. I didn't even know who. I don't even know if we had some of these words to discuss those things outside of if you were a doctor. So I think there's some good that's definitely come out of it. Speaking of animals, there is this one video I can never get out of my head. Is I think it was like a lion or a tiger, but it grew up with the owner, and then like they had to separate, and then I don't know how many years later. It's an old video. How many years later? The guy goes to where the lion is, and the lion comes and like jumps up on
Oh
him, and
yeah,
like,
yeah,
or is it a tiger? I don't know which one, but it was like in hugs, like basically hugs. And I
yeah,
went, animals remember. Like
yeah.
that's a big. I
Those
never
kind of
forgot
things. Yeah,
that. Yeah, I never
that's
forgot
exactly what I
that.
mean by like, because
I was like, I
there's
will never take them for granted.
yeah, because if you go on YouTube Shorts, there's actually like there's compilations of like those are called animals reuniting with their owners.
Yeah,
Like,
I
and
love.
there's an entire like every time I've watched those, like it makes me cry.
Oh, me
Like,
too.
and then
I'm
there's
like
like
all the time. All and it doesn't matter if I've already seen that one. I'm like I'm not gonna cry
yeah,
this time. I'm just gonna make sure it's okay still.
yeah,
I know.
exactly. Yeah. And that's kind of like the thing what I was talking about. Like I would have nowhere even understood that this was a thing.
No.